Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is What If Izuku Was a Hacker Monarch? Now, this is actually, somewhat of a requested what if. Yes, 2 weeks ago, Lunar Moon does kind of says he had a good idea for a what if, and he says, he wanted to pick tell me to pick any character for what if blank was a hacker monarch. Yeah. Now, so yeah. Now, is the hacker monarch gonna be similar to what's called the shadow monarch? No, not really, not at all. Since monarchs are usually they do have an army, but of their own, different things. But yeah, so, oh wait, what am I doing? Yeah, the hacker monarch. Now, before I go anything about the whole hacker monarch and Izuku's how he's gonna get it, let me go into, a boy who has actually become the greatest. No, I'm just kidding. But really, Izuku, he is in UA. Now, he has one for all. Why he has one for all? Because why not? But he was in class 1A, and of course he decides to go towards class 1A, and of course everyone was giving him dirty looks. He was confused why he's getting so many dirty looks. This is where All Might says, Izuku Midoriya, for your crime against for your crime against the Hero Society, give me back my quirk. And Izuku says, but All Might, why? And All Might says, because, you villain. You are the traitor of UA. And Izuku says, what? I'm not, though. And of course, All Might says, give me my quirk. Joy Smash punches Izuku in the face, knocking him out. Of course, we go into a, sort of white bed that has strapped down Izuku. And Izuku has unconsciously gave all for one back to, not all for one for all back to All Might. Now, what happened to Izuku exactly? Well, this is somewhat of a betrayed and cheated. What if? Now, why is this gonna be like this? Yes, why not? Now, Izuku is like, what? But before he got punched, he did see Araka cheating with Bakugo. Like, yeah. There's a cheat with her. Yeah. I never really done any of those like cheating whatever the fuck they're called, because I really didn't care that much. But that's why I'm just gonna do it, because why the fuck not? Because it's the 1.5k special, okay? But yeah, Izuku is crying. Of course, his hero career is kind of over. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know anything like what happened, what exactly happened. But yeah. So Izuku is, kind of confused in what is happening. Now, of course, this is where All Might comes in and, police. And, of course, Izuku is trying to speak, but he can't speak because he has what's called a, what is it called? You know those things that restrain you from actually talking and all that? What's it called? You want some rope and all that? And, of course, Izuku's trying to speak, but he can't. And, of course, All Might says, cops, this is the villain. Now, All Might's just being he's just telling the cops that Izuku is the villain. Now, the cops do show Izuku a, video tape of Izuku stealing the, the US, the UA, pictures of different students and all that, and giving it to a purple, purple, mysticky figure. Now, this is where they're saying this is you. They see a kid with green hair, green eyes. Well, one is kind of fucked up. Somewhat his other eye is yellow, but they don't know why. And of course, freckles. Now, why is this happening? Well, it's sort of a they're just trying to say that yeah. Okay, well, I fucked up that word. God, okay, never mind. But yes, Izuku is being framed right now, and Izuku says, "That's not me," but he can't talk, because, well, he doesn't have a gag over his mouth or anything, no, not like that. He has a, what's it called, an ejection that kind of can't let him talk, so sort of a paralyzed poison. So, of course, the cop says, "Is that you or not?" Izuku nods his head, but of course, All Might says, "Indeed it is. Who else has those that hair and freckles, and also those eyes?" And the cops were kind of suspicious. So basically, what's called All Might's friend, that one guy that works with the cops and all, the detective, is kind of suspicious in this because, first of all, the kid has two green eyes. This person has green eye and yellow eye. Then the detective asks, what's called, Izuku if he has a brother, and Izuku just says no. But then he just says, well, we can't arrest him now. And All Might says, why not? Because we still need evidence to see if he is the criminal. So he will be on, well, he will be in, what's it called, not jail or anything. He will be in a, what's it called, holding cell, just to see if he is the true person. So of course Izuku is kind of thank off for the cop, and All Might says, that is enough evidence. This villain has stolen those UA what's called papers and gave them to a villain, the same villain that attacked the USJ. And Izuku's kind of saddened that All Might is just blaming him, but Izuku is seeing how the Hero Society is working like. So for a second he thought All Might was trying to protect him. No, not happening. But Izuku's kind of getting saddened. Of course, this is where the detective of, well, All Might says, that's not how it works. This is how it not works in Japan. We cannot tell by that because Izuku does not have yellow eye. He has a green and green eyes only. Where is his yellow eye? You said before that he was a quirkless kid. Well, since he took back One for All, do we see any mutations with it? He has green eyes. And All Might says, whatever. This is where the detective says, whatever. Izuku Midoriya, you'll be in a holding cell for a while. Now, this holding cell is actually super technology all around him. Now, Izuku is just sitting there, and of course he has his hands, well, not tied up or anything, or doesn't have handcuffs or anything. He just has them freely. And Izuku is just waiting there. Of course, they give him food every day, and they are trying to get more evidence. So All Might is trying to say that Izuku is a villain. So All Might was, well, the one to actually tell the UA, well, 1A kids and also 1B kids that Izuku was the villain. Which, well, it wasn't All Might. Well, I mean, it was All Might. And then who actually proceeded to actually say that he was a villain was actually, what's called Monoma. So Monoma was like, yeah, he was a villain, haha. And then he was kind of just making blah blah blah, and has spread it all around the whole school. So everyone sees that Izuku's a villain. Really, he's not the villain. Now Monoma is just doing this because he's a little shit, okay? But yeah, Izuku's in this holding cell. It's super technology everywhere. And even if he tried to escape, the bars are actually made out of, well, pure sort of lightning. So sort of lightning bars. So if he even tries to escape, he's getting tased by the lightning bars. And even if he was fast enough, he still feel the burnt of lightning. And also, everywhere around him is fully quirk erasing, what's called, sort of technology. Now Izuku's wondering why. Why does everyone hate me? Why? And Izuku's kind of getting angry and mad. And this is where he activates his actual real quirk. His real quirk, exactly. Now, he remembers when he was younger, he gets a flashback when he was younger, that he messed with the TB for some reason. The TB wasn't working, of course, Inko was kind of saying, don't worry, Izuku, I'm gonna go get something to, go call the cable and all that. Izuku was kind of mad, and of course he touches the TV and it fully turns on. But of course he goes into like this digital world, seeing 0101s. But of course Izuku doesn't know what it was. That he thought it was just an illusion thing or whatever. Thinks he was just thinking of some imagination. And Izuku did love to just like sort of spend a lot of time in what's called the world of technology a lot. So he loved to watch a lot of things and all that, and read a lot of things before trying being what's called All Might successor. He has heard about how not villains, heroes are like these bad people and all that. And Izuku thought they were just like haters and all that. But Izuku is now realizing everything. He should have read more on the articles of like every time he was online and all that. Now, everyone, he also did see what they call, in a video game he used to love playing and all that, was something called Watchdog. And this is where I kind of got inspired to do this. But yeah, Izuku is just like, why? All heroes should be dying. All of them should die, but then again, those who are good should be helped. Those people. And of course, Izuku, his eyes fully turn into a cyan color. He kind of got like this cyan color. And of course, he goes up to one of the technology walls and puts his hand on the technology, erasing deleting turning off the code of what's called the erasing quirk and all that. So pretty much those erasing quirks, even Aizawa's erasing, will not work on Izuku's quirk. And Izuku is saying, screw this world. So he managed to turn off everything around him. So Izuku is out of the prison cell, holding cell that much, and then is out walking. Now, of course, someone was wondering, wait, what happened? Where is Izuku? Izuku is right now 30 minutes away. Now, Izuku noticed one thing. He was on an island. He can't get to the city if he's on a small island. This is where the cops and all that notice Izuku and says, halt there! Izuku says, shit, I gotta jump. Of course, but before actually jumping, one of the cops decides to shoot Izuku. One in the arm and one in the leg. And of course, Izuku just could not jump over the spikes underneath him. So of course, he got pierced. And of course, when the cops see this, and of course, tell the guy, you idiot! And of course, the guy said, whatever. At least we killed the villain, right? You idiot. You know what? You're getting arrested and sending you to jail. So of course, they put that guy in this holding cell instead. And of course, they see Izuku's dead body there. Now, Izuku slowly, his eyes said, I had my quirk. I awoke in it now. But yet, I still died. What about Mom? What about those people that doesn't deserve these goddamn heroes? These fakers. What about those people that will be hurt by villains? No, I can't die. And of course, the cops just decide to go, clean up his dead body under there. But before anything happens, everything turns gray. And a blue box appears right in front of Izuku, saying, would you like to become a player? And Izuku says, yes. Sure, why not? I have nothing else to lose. Clicks on the blue box, says yes. And of course, it kind of glitched a little bit, but Izuku somewhat uses his quirk on it. Now, he is, reawoken into, in the forest. For some reason, he doesn't know how he got to the forest. Now, his body, where it's at, the body that was, in the clips and all that, kind of looks like it kind of glitched out and kind of teleported Izuku away. But there was still blood in the rocks and all that, and also in the water. So when the cops got there, they were wondering where he actually went. But of course, they saw blood and all that, and they said, shit, he went undersea. We gotta put a report on that. So of course, UA managed to get the word of this, and also everyone got a word that the villain died and all that. And everyone cheering. All Might's cheering also. But Aizawa, he was kind of getting attached to Izuku. And is kind of saddened and angry about what everyone has actually done, even especially All Might. Now, this is where what's called the Million. He also thought that, well, this should have not been fair for Izuku, since the Million is actually someone that sees everyone as good and should have, well, tried to see the footage. Now, he actually found out the footage for Izuku, and saw Izuku had two different colored eyes, and looks at the profile of Izuku, and well, he sees that Izuku has two green eyes. And Lemillion is wondering how they kind of miscorrect this person to be Izuku. But at the end of the footage, this is what Lemillion actually discovered. He saw the, what's called, Izuku kind of somewhat melt for a second. And an eye, like blonde hair, like also sort of bun hair, like kind of curly up and all that. And yellow eye appear with some sharp teeth. This is basically Toga, who actually joined the League of Villains way earlier. So yeah. And of course, this is where Lemillion got the picture and all, and was about to talk to what's called Principal Nesu. Yes, that's his name, okay? And of course, Nesu is actually pretty shocked. And of course, when the detectives actually decide to rewatch the footage, for some reason they keep stopping at like this part where Izuku is kind of seen giving these files. They never actually watch the end. Yeah. And of course, they watched the end and saw that this was not Izuku, but someone else. They kind of get the picture and put it in the files, and they found their person, Toga Hijimari, I think it was her name, or something like that. And of course, they're like, Toga's quirk, what's it called, blood draining, transform to people, whatever her original quirk was. And of course, this is where the detective says, "Damn." So Izuku was falsely accused. Stupid All Might. I mean, not stupid All Might. Stupid Toji. So I think Toji was his actual real name for All Might, but I can't remember. God. So yeah. So when they actually released like the about Izuku being a villain, people were about to go attack Inko and all that for having a villain child. But also, this is where the cops send the real footage and actually showing the actual full footage of what's called. And of course, people saw that the heroes falsely accused this young boy, even though this young boy was falsely accused by a villain. And of course, everyone was kind of looking at UA, kind of wondering, is it a good idea to send their children if their children would be falsely accused? And of course, this is where UA kind of get hit really bad. So the government start paying that much for UA and started paying for like the other hero schools. So yeah. So UA does not have this giant budget or anything. It has now a medium budget. So yeah. This everyone is shocked and all that, even Ochako, but then again, she didn't mind cheating on Izuku because Izuku was a good person, but then again, Ochako is kind of in for that money, you know, and Bakugo decided to give her money, blah blah blah, to cheat. So of course that happens, and we go back to Izuku. Izuku is wondering where he's at. Where is he at? Now Izuku is not in a normal forest. He activates his quirk and actually sees there's a bunch of zeros and ones around him. He's confused and what the hell is happening. Izuku, he is just looking around, and he actually saw like this giant orc just rushing at him. Izuku jumped back, and he just decided to kind of put his hand out and a sword appeared. Now this is just a normal iron sword, and Izuku was like, what the? How can I do this? Izuku rushes at the orc and slashes his head off. Now Izuku has gained 5 levels. Now Izuku is wondering what the hell is happening. Something that Izuku kind of changed for the system. The system has changed. Now Izuku is wondering how the hell did I do that? Izuku does not know where this war is at, but this is where more orcs are coming, and this is where Izuku is getting annoyed. So he uses something that he activated, Bloodlust. Now, this bloodlust is actually called Killer Intent instead. Killer Intent damage those around him for only 30 damage each. Not 30. 5 damage per second. And of course, the orcs are, their health is actually 45. So, of course, they kind of die in about 5 seconds. So, yeah. Or it could be more. I don't know. I can't count, okay? So, of course, they die. And, of course, Izuku does rush at one of them and kills him. Now, the Killer Intent has a a kind of limit, a range on him. So, only 5 meters he can use it for. Anyone that's outside that range does not get damage. Actually, no, it's not Killer Intent. I'm gonna call it Kill Aura, because that's what Lunar Moon does to say. Said, okay? Kill Aura. So that's what it is. Now, it's just reddish kind of. It's this sort of reddish aura that kind of appears on Izuku. Now, Izuku's eyes also turn somewhat red. So, Izuku is now just having his sword and his now new skill. He looks at the sword, and the sword is called Normal Iron Sword. Damage is 45. And he just thinks this actually looks cool. Weapon, common. And then Izuku decides to touch the common, and the common changes. Just a little tap by his quirk. Damage, not. Damage, the same. Well, not same. 400. 400. What's it called? Rarity? Legendary. So yeah, he was like, whoa, what the? Can I change this with my quirk? Now, of course, there were more beasts start rushing at Izuku. And of course, when Izuku uses the kill aura to kill like 5 orcs and all that, his kill aura actually increases to that of level 2. Now, it actually does about 10 damage. Now, Izuku is rushing towards the orcs and actually killing them easily. So yeah. Now we go off on a day, 1 day time skip. Now, everyone have heard of, Izuku and all that. And Inko is crying the fact that her son was falsely accused by heroes and her son is dead. So, of course, she just looks on, being sad. And, of course, glares at, Bakugo's mother. What was her name? I don't remember her name. So, Izuku is just like, this is interesting. Now, this is where something happens. A giant sort of orc his skin is red. All the other orcs that Izuku killed had green skin. But yeah, this is where I go back to Izuku. But yeah, Izuku is like, what the hell? Now Izuku dodges, and of course, his health almost gets hit by just like rock, and of course, his health kind of goes down. And Izuku sees his health and sees, is this a game? But how did I get the honors? Or if this was an RPG, how? So he dodges another what's called rock and all that, because the orc is just throwing rocks at Izuku. And Izuku is right now cutting through the rocks with his sword and all that. And the sword's durability is still pretty good. Now, this is where the what's called orc just rushes at Izuku. And this orc is level 10. And Izuku's only level 7. Now, Izuku dodges the orc, and of course, this is where Izuku thinks of Bakugo's quirk for some reason. And for some reason, a skill has been activated. Explosions. Izuku uses the explosion and it does 300 damage. What? Well, not 300 damage. Yeah, 300 damage. And Izuku just points his hand at the, orc and all that. The orc has about 1,000 health. And Izuku just launches an explosion at the orc, hitting him for 300. Then Izuku, after the orc kind of just stumbled back a little bit, Izuku uses his sword to slash at the orc's stomach, and of course does 400 damage. And of course the orc is now down on his last couple of health bar. Well, not health bar, just couple of HP. So yeah, Izuku's confused what is happening. But the orc he had about 1,000 health. Now he only has 300. So Izuku saw his cooldown on explosions were going down for 30 minutes. And Izuku was kind of getting annoyed because, yeah, his, what's it called, explosion skill is, well, on cooldown for 30 minutes. So he uses a sword to rush it at the orc, but this is where the orc becomes a little bit more red. And actually goes into, well, his health kind of boosts up back to actually 20,000. Izuku says, what the? How is that even impossible? Izuku tries to use his sword to slash at the orc. This is where the orc actually grabs Izuku's sword and crushes it. And Izuku says, shit. And of course, but before he almost got punched, Izuku almost got punched, Izuku teleported. And was like, what the? Skill activated. Teleportation. Yes, basically his hackers, what's called hacker quirk, is actually giving him quirks. Quirks that he probably already seen. And is actually turning it into a skill in the system. Now, the system cannot turn the hacker thing into an actual skill. So it stays as a quirk that cannot be taken, cannot be erased, and cannot be anything. Since the system does not allow it. So yeah, Izuku is just like, what the? If I think of quirks, cannot. Izuku just says, then. He uses both his hands, he stretches it out, and of course, he feels his flowing power rage. Skill activated. New skill unlocked. Hot and ice. Well, icy hot. Basically, he has both Todoroki's quirks, fire and ice. He launches an ice glacier at the giant. Now the giant gets hit by it, and then Izuku launches fire. Now the ice does 600 while the fire only does about 300. Now, why does that actually happen? Because the, well, orc has about, he has 23,000. Not 23,000. 2,300. And, of course, Izuku launches ice. And the ice actually pierces through him, the orc. Now, the fire, he's actually immune to fire. Not immune to fire, but he's resistant to fire. So, yeah. So, it was kind of weak for him to use fire. And, of course, the orc has about 1,400 and is now rushing at Izuku. Izuku has to dodge. And this is where Izuku just says, damn it. He's dodging, and of course, Izuku is pretty flexible and pretty fast. Now, Izuku actually says, stats activated. So, Izuku activated stats right in front of him. And of course, he's dodging pretty easily because he sees his stats. His stats are right now not at like basic number 1 or whatever. His stats are, well, he is level 7, of course. Stats, strength, 50. Speed, 50. Almost everything is at, well, 50. Just for that. But of course, Izuku kind of puts one finger at strength and it kind of glitches into, well, that of, well, kind of 75. And Izuku was confused because he only saw he only had 3. Well, about 6 stat, not 6 stat points, about 21 stat points, and that won't get him enough to 75. But Izuku kind of puts 2 hands on speed, and he did put the stat points on speed, but of course, he also kind of glitched out the, 50 points. So instead of being 50 plus 21, it was actually 50 plus 50. The stat points kind of become 50. So of course he has 100 now. Now his speed is incredible. He actually managed to dodge. Now of course he keeps dodging the giant and all that. So decides to punch the, not giant, the orc in the stomach. And of course he only be able to do about, he has about 75 strength. So of course he punches the orc and the orc gets angry. Now, his normal, it won't be 75 damage. His normal fist attack would have been about 100. Now, 100 times 75. 7,500 damage to the orc. And the orc gets one shot. Since he only had 1,400 health. So yeah, Izuku easily just punched the shit out of him. So Izuku was like, well, not punch him easily. It was about 75,000, and the orc had 1,400. But yeah, this is where Izuku is like, huh, that stupid orc. Now, of course, this is where, what's it called? Izuku is just like, this is very interesting. So he's looking through his stats. So his damage is at, well, 75% of damage and all that. Well, 75 is strength. His damage is right now like 75,000. His normal damage would have been 100, but it increases like, yeah. He actually did not notice that. And the 50 did help him, but yeah, okay, I mean. The speed is at hunger, so speed is at hunger, but stamina is at about 50. And of course, there's intelligence, and there's also luck. Now, Izuku touches all three of those. Intelligence became 168. What's called stamina has actually became 155. And Izuku's pretty smart now. He has the IQ of 55, 155. Now, his luck cannot be changed that much. But what he did kind of change it is to click on it, and it glitched out. His luck was at, well, -10. Not -10. It was at -100. Why? Because he had very bad luck and actually getting screwed over. But Izuku changed the negative and the numbers to 777. So basically, his luck is just a godly now. And Izuku has actually got a new skill. You got the God of Luck now. Well, not a skill, but a, what's it called? I should call it a title, God of Luck. And Izuku was like, whoa, this actually looks so cool. Am I in an RPG? But how did I get here? And then he remembers the little blue box that kind of appeared where you like to become a player. Then it actually kind of turned green and glitched out when Izuku clicked yes. When he had his quirk still turned on. And Izuku saying, wait, could my quirk be hacking? So his quirk is called Hacker. Or what I like to call it, Watchdog. Because why not? Now, Izuku kind of looks at what his stats, but also looks at his name. Izuku Midoriya. That's his name. Quirk, Watchdog. Watchdog allows him to hack into anything if it's made out of technology. If it's all made out of 0, 1s, and 1. The world also title different titles. The Gamer, the Hacker, and also God of Luck. There's about like 71 titles, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, different skills. Different skills. Hacking, explosion, icy hot, and also teleportation. Izuku's like, this is interesting. And also there's one that's called blacksmith. Now Izuku says, I don't remember being a blacksmith. And then Izuku looks at what's it called. He also got another one called creation for skill, but he doesn't actually remember doing that. Unless he can create quirks, but yeah, he doesn't know about that. What's it called? So that's all. And of course, what's it called? The world. There's one called the different worlds and all that. There's World Earth and this world system. The system. In RPG game and all that. The Izuku Midoriya is now in. Izuku is getting more, well, information where he's at. And he says, that actually seems so cool. If this is an RPG and if I get stronger, which my level is 7 right now, but it did increase to level 14 when I killed that orc, then I can become stronger. And then I'll go back to Earth. Just watch me, All Might. When I kick your ass, I'ma send you straight to hell. So, we go to about 2-month time skip. Now, why I did a 2-month time skip, I will explain what will happen. But before that, we go back into the Earth, the world of quirks. Now, they did the sports festival. There was what's called stain and all that, and Todoroki did not help or anything since that never happened. So in this one, Ida actually dies. But yeah, So of course, just the killer never actually gets found out or anything. He never gets arrested. So yeah. And also, the League of Villains has actually became stronger, and they actually, well, are in the what's called the forest. This is now the forest arc, where the League of Villains are actually trying to capture Bakugo. Now, since Toga actually joined war earlier than original canon, since she joined way earlier than the original canon, she was actually, well, in the League of Villains as well, a sort of second lieutenant, somewhat. So yeah, she's actually, well, kind of got more quirks by All For One and all that. But yeah, also Dobby, he joined and all that. Other villains has actually joined. But yeah, now of course this is where the villains are actually going to go get Bakugo. But this is where a sort of portal kind of appear. A man, sort of with a black hooded, well, black pants, black shoes, a black hood. But the black hood is kind of made with sort of green. It sort of has dark green around. His hands are actually covered with a glove that looks like a claw and all that, but it's also kind of green. And, well, he has a mask. It sort of looks like a dragon mask. So this mask. And of course his eyes are not shown. But what are shown are these eyes. These greenish eyes shown. Not this one. And of course, Izuku is like out of, well, his world, the RPG. Izuku says, "Where am I? System. What's it called? Radio. Not radio. What am I talking about?" So he says skill, location, and also another skill, time. So this is where Izuku says time shows up 2 months ago after your death. You are now in this world. This is location also appear. Location, training field for UA and also where the villains were attacked. And Izuku says, UA. Haven't heard of that after 2 months. Maybe I should pay a visit to them. Maybe. I'm not gonna help them anyway. And Izuku. This is Izuku, and also he's not like, how tall was he in original canon? Wait. So Izuku is 5'5.5" and all, but now in this one he's actually 6'1". 6'1". Yeah, so he's that tall. And Izuku, his hair also kind of grew a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of that similar to Sunshine, but yeah, a little bit. Now, he is level, well, 100. He is only tier 1 in level 100. Tier 2 would be something else. But Izuku managed to kind of glitch that out. And he is tier 1, level 100. His skills are kind of all maxed out, and he has to go into this world and actually look for more quirks that he can actually kind of analyze and make it into, well, his own skill. Now, what he's actually wanting to go into this world is to get his old journal notebooks, so he can actually get all those like information, skills, of course, and all that, the useful ones only. Now, Izuku's in this world. And of course, Izuku is hiding in like the what's called trees. Now, Izuku can teleport through dimensions. He can go back to his home world, which he calls home world because it's an RPG world that he can hack and all that. And then there's this world, the world that he hates a lot. But then again, he doesn't care that much at all. So yeah. And there's other worlds, but I should mention that later. Now, Izuku is just like, keeps teleporting using teleportation and all that. And, well, teleportation cooldown, instant. So, the cooldown is nothing but just an instant. He can just spam it and use it without getting any side effects or anything else. So, yeah. Now, Izuku has a weapon. Now, I'll mention that later, which weapons he can actually summon and all that. Which weapon that he actually has from the RPG war. Well, I'll mention that later. But Izuku seeing the mass destruction against the villains and against 1A and 1B class. Of course, this is where this is where Muscular actually decides to attacks the kid with the red hat and the little horns and all. I don't remember his name, but yeah. This is where Izuku appears right in front of the kid and blocks Muscular punches and says, "Is that a way to attack a kid?" And this is where Muscular says, "Who are you? Are you some kind of hero?" Izuku says, "Hero? No, not really. I'm not a villain either. I guess you can call me an anti-hero." And of course, Muscular says, "Whatever, you weakling. You can't defeat me." This is where Izuku says, "Skill activated. Erase." This is where Muscular's quirk gets erased. And of course, Muscular says, "Why can't I use my quirk?" Izuku pulls out a weapon from out of nowhere. Like, sort of zeros and ones kind of appeared, and also he has his weapon now. Now, the weapon actually, so this is where Izuku pulls out a sword that's like this, but can actually transform into this. So Izuku pulls it out, and of course is where he launches the blade at. Well, yeah, the blade kind of transforms into this, and of course this cuts Muscular's head off. And of course Muscular just dies already. It's where the kid, I can't remember his name, kind of freaks out and says, "Whoa, please don't kill me." Izuku says, "Go along, run to the heroes. I'm not here to kill you, I can care less. Now leave." Of course, he runs back to where, the hero should be at, and Izuku disappears, teleporting again. But yes, Izuku, this is where he kind of teleports to where, So, Todoroki is still kind of using his eyesight number as fire side. So yeah, there's also where Ochako is trying to save her boyfriend Bakugo and all. And this is where Dabi appears and actually breaking the marble and having Bakugo's having his neck behind him using the blue flames about to kill him, and all looks like about to kill him. Izuku, what he does is throw a dagger at Bakugo so fast that no one actually noticed it. Neither did Dabi or any of the villains did, because there's Toga twice and Mr. Compressed still there. And this is where Bakugo is stabbed in the leg by a random dagger. Now this dagger has some green ooze kind of coming off of it. And this is where Bakugo screams, and of course the villains are shocked. But the villains in the what's called Class 1A kind of looks into where the direction came from, and all they see is just these eyes, this eye right here. They just see this one eye, and also on the other side, and also sort of a dragon mask. And Izuku has his hand kind of look like his throne and all that, the weapon, and Izuku just smiles and disappears. He teleports. Now, the teleportation looks like they have an Enderman teleportation effect, but yeah. Of course, Bakugo gets hit by a poison dagger. Now, this is actually where I'm going to leave it off. Have a nice potato day, potato night, and potato sleep. Potato, potato. This is the 1.5K special. The true 1.5K special. I know I've been holding it off for a while because I was thinking how I was going to do this. But yeah, I think I did a pretty good job with this. I think so. Somewhat. I'm also going to be doing what's called What If Naruto had What if Naruto became the Shadow Monarch? Part 3 later on. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And also, I'll probably do what's called What If Naruto Was Karma later also. But I don't know. There's no promises because I usually get tired and fall asleep or something. But yeah. Potato, potato, potato. Potato.